Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are Julian Sutcliffe, a civil servant who will be answering questions on the novels of Alan Hollinghurst. Gary Mackenzie, a delivery driver. His specialist subject is the 20th century England cricketer Harold Larwood. Kritika Bhattacharya, a marketing executive whose subject is the television sitcom The Vicar of Dibley. And Alison Jay, a PhD student in history whose specialist subject is the life and works of the artist Edouard Manet. So, 4 more contenders enter the arena, single-minded, focused and up for the challenge. The prize, a place in the semi-finals where they could be on course to become Mastermind champion and the proud owner of the famous glass bowl. Standing in their way, though, the little matter of 2 minutes on their chosen specialist subject and 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's ask our first contender to join us, please. And your name?
Julian Sutcliffe.
Your occupation?
Civil servant.
And your chosen specialist subject?
The novels of Alan Hollinghurst.
The 6 novels by Alan Hollinghurst, including The Line of Beauty, dubbed by the media as the first gay novel to win the Booker Prize, in 2 minutes, starting now. The central character in The Line of Beauty, Nick Guest, says he went to stay at the home of which Conservative MP for a few weeks, and I've ended up staying for nearly 3 years.
Gerald Fedden.
Yes, in The Folding Star, the tutor Edward lives next to which school in Flanders, which his pupil, Luke, had been required to leave?
St. Narcissus.
Yes, who describes Edward as bonkers in The Folding Star when Edward reveals that he's wearing items of clothing that he has stolen from Luke?
Edie D'Souza.
Yes, what's the title of the mint-condition copy of the novel by Ronald Furbank that the protagonist, Will Beckwith, loses when he's beaten up on a housing estate in the swimming pool library?
The Flower Beneath the Foot.
Yes, Will remarks several times in the swimming pool library about what brand of talcum powder and aftershave lotion, which he says permeated the gay world in a matter of weeks in 1983.
Trouble for Men.
Yes, the title of the novel, The Sparsholt Affair, refers to a scandal involving David Sparsholt, the businessman, Clifford Haxby, and which MP, the owner of a sailing boat named the Ganymede?
Leslie Stevens.
Yes, Catherine asks Sir Maurice Tipper in The Line of Beauty how much he donated to the French church he visits on holiday. How much did he give?
50p.
No, 5 francs. In The Stranger's Child, the author Dudley Valence is slightly mortified that his brother Cecil's most famous poem is An Ode to a Suburban Garden. What's the title of the poem?
2 Acres.
Yes, what's the first name of the character in The Stranger's Child who is annoyed when she's asked an intrusive question by Cecil's biographer, Paul, but is pleased with how she answered pass to the question?
Daphne.
Yes, what name is shared by the pub in The Line of Beauty where Nick first meets Leo, and a pub that Alex thinks about in The Spell?
I'll pass.
In The Spell, what's the name of the Brazilian man whom Danny picks up in a club and then suspects stole his gold chain given to him as a present by Alex by swallowing it?
Edward.
No, Luis. The university that Luke applies to in The Folding Star is named after which English county? Also the location of the village of Lytton Gambrill in The Spell.
Dorset.
Yes, in the swimming pool library. I've started, so I'll finish. Will's grandfather, Dennis Beckwith, a character also mentioned in The Line of Beauty, is described as having pursued a crusade to eradicate male vice when he held what position?
Director of Public Prosecutions.
Yes, DPP. And Julian, you had 1 pass. What name is shared by the pub in The Line of Beauty where Nick first meets Leo, and a pub that Alex thinks about in The Spell? It's the Chepstow Castle. Yes, you knew it. And at the end of that round, Julian, you've scored 10 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. And your name?
Gary Mackenzie.
Your occupation?
Delivery driver.
And your chosen specialist subject?
Harold Larwood.
The England cricketer who played a major part in the Bodyline Test series, which threatened diplomatic relations, no less, between Australia and the UK in the 1930s. In 2 minutes, let's go. Harold Larwood went to which local primary school, also attended by his bowling partner, Bill Vose?
Kirby Woodhouse.
Yes, before his cricket career, Larwood worked as a coal miner, and at the age of 14, his first job underground was in charge of a team of pit ponies at which local colliery?
Selhouse.
No, Annesley. Which local county cricketer, who'd also played 5 times for England, spotted Larwood's talent and arranged a trial with Nottinghamshire for him in 1923?
Joe Hardstaff Senior.
Yes, Larwood made his county championship debut in August 1924, but had to wait almost a year for his next opportunity when he bowled against the England batsman Herbert Sutcliffe in a match at what venue?
Sheffield.
Yes, Bramall Lane. Larwood was a member of the Nottinghamshire side that won the county championship in 1929, and he contributed to this success by taking how many wickets in the championship?
121.
No, 80. In 1932, Larwood was selected for his second MCC tour to Australia. What was the name of the captain of the team who chose to adopt controversial leg theory bowling tactics?
Douglas Jardine.
Yes, the controversy about the supposedly unsporting bowling tactics peaked during the third test at Adelaide, when a ball from Larwood fractured the skull of which Australian player?
Bert Oldfield.
Yes, in the final test of the Bodyline series, Larwood went in as night watchman and achieved his highest test score of how many runs in that innings?
98.
Yes, Larwood's teammates universally called him by what one-syllable nickname, which stuck so much that he came to use it for himself?
Lol.
Yes, on his return from the Bodyline tour, Larwood angered the Australians when he was quoted as saying Woodfull was too slow and Bradman was too frightened in an interview with which British Sunday newspaper?
Sunday Express.
Yes, in the course of his career, Larwood took 1,427 first-class wickets and topped the bowling averages for an English season on how many separate occasions?
5.
Yes, in 1927, along with George Geary, Jack Mercer, Bill Woodfull and Bert Oldfield, Larwood was awarded which annual cricketing honour?
Cricketer of the Year. Wisden Cricketer of the Year.
Yes, Wisden Cricketer of the Year. And Gary, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 10 points. And our next contender, please. And your name?
Kritika Bhattacharya.
And your occupation?
Marketing executive.
And your specialist subject?
The Vicar of Dibley.
The hugely popular sitcom starring Dawn French as the Vicar Geraldine Granger in 2 minutes. Starting now. When Geraldine Granger arrives in Dibley as the new vicar, she guesses that the villagers were actually expecting a bloke with a beard, Bible, and what other alliterative attribute?
Bad breath.
Yes, what 4 words precede the cast list and the other credits at the end of almost every episode of the series?
Bless you for watching.
Yes, what's the surname of Geraldine's elderly, long-serving predecessor as the Vicar of Dibley, who dies during a church service in the first episode?
Pottle.
Yes, when the verger Alice Tinker marries Hugo Horton, which member of the parish council gives her away in church?
Frank.
Yes, Frank Pickle. What's the first name of the parish councillor Jim Trott's wife, who is seen on only a few occasions in the whole series?
Doris.
Yes, the interior scenes for the series were filmed in a studio, but which real-life village in Buckinghamshire was the location for most of the outdoor shoots?
Turville.
Yes, when Dibley stages a nativity show, Mary, who is great with child, played by Alice, arrives in Bethlehem aboard what type of vehicle after the donkey has run away during rehearsals?
A tractor.
No, a motorised lawnmower. Which actor plays Cecil, the church's eccentric choirmaster, who is seen in a number of episodes, including Songs of Praise, and is keen to explain that he is not married and doesn't get out much?
Pass.
In the 2020 lockdown specials, Hugo reveals that his father, David, has moved to which country, where he has married a woman whom Hugo calls the Baroness?
Monaco.
Yes, what alternative first name does the farmer Owen Newitt adopt when he attends the same speed dating event as Geraldine because he thinks it will make him sexier?
Brad.
Yes, in The Handsome Stranger, Alice tells Geraldine she's been reading which fantastic new book from the Bible that is so much better than Genesis and that boring old stuff.
Da Vinci Code.
Yes, what's the name of the minister known as the real Vicar of Dibley, who was consulted and shadowed by Dawn French in preparation for her role as Geraldine?
Joy Carroll.
Yes, Joy Carroll Wallace, correct. In the Christmas lunch incident, Geraldine tells an unimpressed Owen Newitt that she plans to base her Christmas sermon on a work by which female poet, rather than using a traditional biblical text?
Christina Rossetti.
Yes, it is Christina Rossetti. You just had the single pass. Which actor plays Cecil, the church's eccentric choirmaster? Simon McBurney. And at the end of that round, Kritika, you scored 11 points.
Thank you.
And our final contender, please. And your name?
Alison J.
And your occupation?
PhD student in history.
And your specialist subject?
The life and works of Edouard Manet.
The French painter born in 1832, who was a leading figure in the transition from realism to impressionism. In 2 minutes, starting now. Which Spanish artist did Manet describe as the greatest artist who has ever been after he returned from a week in Madrid in 1865?
Velázquez.
Yes. On which street in Paris was the studio of Thomas Couture, where the young Manet trained from 1850 for 6 years, despite many arguments with his teacher?
Rue Lavoie.
No, Rue Laval. Which painting by Titian is held to be the main inspiration for Manet's infamous 1863 work, Olympia?
The Venus of Urbino.
Yes. Which newly built iron bridge, constructed to provide easy access to Gare Saint-Lazare, features in Manet's painting The Railway?
The Pont d'Armor.
No, the Pont de l'Europe. Which painting, first exhibited in 1869, caused one of its models, Bertha Morisot, to declare of her appearance in it, "I am more strange-looking than ugly"?
Repose?
No, The Balcony. In a duel with swords fought in February 1870, Manet slightly injured which author and critic who'd written disparagingly about 2 of his works?
Durante.
Yes. In Manet's oil painting Street Singer, completed around 1862, the eponymous figure is holding what fruits?
Cherries.
Yes, in 1870. In order to escape the fighting in Paris during the Franco-Prussian War, Manet sent his family to which small town in the Pyrenees?
Oloron-Saint-Marie.
Yes. What title did Manet originally give to his then scandalous painting Le Déjeuner sur l'herbe when it was first exhibited in 1863?
Le Bain.
Yes. Which collector paid 1,000 francs rather than the previously agreed 800 for a painting of a bunch of asparagus, inspiring Manet to send him a picture of a single asparagus stalk as thanks?
Fauré.
No, Charles Ephrussi. Which painting, Manet's only exhibit at the Paris Salon in 1875, was mocked by a Figaro journalist for the intense shade of blue of the River Seine, calling the view jam on an indigo river?
Argenteuil.
Yes. What was the name of the aspiring actress who modelled for the painting Spring in a floral hat and dress, prompting one reviewer to note, "She is not a woman, she is a bouquet, truly a visual perfume"?
Jeanne de Marseille.
Yes, it is Jeanne de Marseille. And Alison, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, 8 points.
Okay.
And at the end of the specialist subjects round, let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 8 points, it's Alison. In joint 2nd place with 10 points each, Julian and Gary. And in 1st place with 11 points is Kritika. So now the general knowledge round, and if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, it's a tie break. So let's ask Alison to join us again, please. Alison, you start with 8 points. You've now got 2.5 minutes of general knowledge. Starting now. Agua is the Spanish word for what liquid?
Water.
Yes. Which former member of Take That married the American actress Ida Field in Beverly Hills in 2010?
Robbie Williams.
Yes. In the name of an organisation that represents the interests of people in higher education, the letters NUS stand for what?
National Union of Students.
Yes. Which British city has council wards called Govan, Pollokshields and Hill Head?
Glasgow.
Yes, during the Middle Ages, Ferdinand the Handsome, Sancho the Populator and Manuel the Fortunate were kings of which European country?
Spain.
No, Portugal. In what 1951 film comedy does Alec Guinness play a London bank clerk who plans to steal gold bullion and then disguise it as souvenir paperweights of the Eiffel Tower?
The Lavender Hill Mob?
Yes, the term West Bank, often used as the name for an area of territory in the Middle East that includes the cities of Hebron and Ramallah, refers to the West Bank of which river?
The Jordan.
Yes. In a fairy tale published by the Brothers Grimm, which character spins straw into gold for the miller's daughter, but then threatens to take her firstborn child if she fails to guess his name?
Rapunzel.
No, Rumpelstiltskin. At the age of 80, which Welsh singer became the oldest man to have a UK #1 album when Surrounded by Time topped the chart in April 2021?
Sir Tom Jones?
Yes, the Curtis Cup is a biennial competition for amateur female competitors who represent America and Great Britain and Ireland in what sport?
Sailing?
No, golf. In Greek mythology, who was saved from a sea serpent by Perseus after he turned the monster to stone by showing it the head of the Gorgon Medusa?
Andromeda?
Yes, what name meaning before food is given to the first course of a formal Italian meal?
Après dîner.
No, antipasto. In the final of an international event held at the Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York in July 2019, Kyle Giesdorf won $3 million when he beat 99 other competitors in which video game?
Oh, Go.
No, Fortnite. What's the word from the Latin for inhabit, for the cylindrical pedestal on the deck of a ship that houses a compass?
But pedal still.
No, binnacle. The red-necked species of what marsupial native to Australia is known to have established populations in the wild in the British Isles after escaping from zoos?
Squirrels?
No, wallaby. What nickname is sometimes applied to Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 3 in D major because its finale is in Polonaise rhythm?
Ooh. The dancing.
No, it's Polish symphony. And your time is up. And Alison, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 16 points.
Thank you.
Next up is Julian. Julian, you start with 10 points. The score to beat as it stands is 16 points, and you've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge, starting now. In the name of a school subject, the word maths is short for what?
Mathematics.
Yes, the little-known American heavyweight boxer Chuck Wepner was the inspiration for what 1976 Oscar-winning film about a boxer who earns the chance to fight a world champion?
Rocky.
Yes, a classical guitar, sometimes called a Spanish guitar, typically has how many strings?
4.
No, 6. What alternative name for paraffin is derived from the Greek word for wax?
Bitumen.
No, kerosene. What's the more common term for a performer known as a funambulist?
A dancer.
No, a tightrope walker. In 2001, Tirana International Airport was named after which Roman Catholic nun of Albanian descent?
Mother Teresa.
Yes. What's the full name of the music, film and interactive media festival held annually in Austin, Texas, and widely known by the initials SXSW?
Pass.
The French town of Montélimar in Provence is renowned for producing what chewy confectionery item made from sugar, honey, egg white and almonds?
Nougat.
Yes. What television drama series, first shown from 2004 to 2006, was created by Jed Mercurio and is based on his book of the same title about medical negligence in a hospital?
Casualty.
No, Bodies. Which Welsh footballer returned to Tottenham on loan in September 2020 after having left the club in 2013 to play for Real Madrid?
Pass.
What was the name of the first president of Zambia who died in 2021, aged 97, having ruled the country for 27 years from its independence in 1964?
Pass.
Which West End musical features the songs The Wizard and I, I'm Not That Girl and March of the Witch Hunters?
Wicked.
Yes, in the ancient Irish myth of the children of Lear, the 4 offspring of the god of the sea were transformed into what aquatic birds?
Seagulls.
No, Swans, Anderlecht and Etterbeek are municipalities of which European capital city?
Repeat that, please.
Anderlecht and Etterbeek are municipalities of which European capital city?
Madrid.
No, Brussels. What Latin term translates as through my own fault and is used in English to acknowledge a mistake?
Mea culpa.
Yes, an endothermic reaction involves the absorption of energy in the form of heat. What corresponding term describes a chemical reaction that involves the release of heat?
Exothermic.
Yes, in July 2017, which English national park was awarded UNESCO World Heritage Site status?
South Downs.
No, the Lake District National Park, in the common name of a species of Rudbeckia, sometimes called the coneflower, with golden petals and a dark-coloured centre. What girl's name follows the words black-eyed?
Ooh, Rosie.
No, Susan. Black-eyed Susan. Julian, you had 3 passes. Kenneth Kaunda was the first president of Zambia, who died in 2021. Gareth Bale was the footballer who returned to Tottenham from Real Madrid. And SXSW, the annual festival, is South by Southwest. And at the end of that round, Julian, you've got 17 points. And time for Gary. So, Gary, you start with 10 points. The score to beat, as it stands, is 17 points. You've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge, Starting now, Buck House is an informal name for which royal residence in London?
Buckingham Palace.
Yes, 4 years after the publication of John Milton's epic poem Paradise Lost, his follow-up work was published with the title Paradise what?
Regained.
Yes, the Umayyad Mosque, built in the 8th century and one of the holiest shrines in Islam, is in which Middle Eastern capital city?
Medina.
No, Damascus. During an eclipse of the sun, an arc of bright spots known as Bailey's beads is sometimes visible around the edge of which other celestial body?
The moon.
Yes, which American singer set a new record at the Grammy Awards in 2021 by becoming the first female artist to win Album of the Year for a 3rd time?
Taylor Swift.
Yes, inflammation of the tissues of the lungs is known by what medical name derived from the Greek word for lung?
Emphysema.
No, pneumonia. Billy Porter won an Emmy Award for his performance as a Master of Ceremonies known as Pray Tell, in which American drama series set in 1980s New York?
Rent.
No, Pose. Magaluf, Palencia and Valdemosa are resorts on which Spanish island in the Mediterranean Sea?
Mallorca.
Yes, the theme music to Monty Python's Flying Circus was the Liberty Bell, one of many marches composed by which American composer and military band conductor?
John Philip Sousa.
Yes, what alternative term for a slaughterhouse is derived from a French verb meaning to fell?
Abattoir.
Yes, which film director had a successful career in Hong Kong cinema before moving to Hollywood in the 1990s and making popular action films such as Broken Arrow and Face Off?
John Woo.
Yes, in professional darts, a dart that lands in the outer bullseye scores how many points?
25.
Yes, which Shakespeare play begins with Theseus and Hippolyta discussing their forthcoming wedding?
As You Like It.
No, A Midsummer Night's Dream, the 1888 artwork known as the Night Cafe, which features a billiard table in its centre, was painted by which Dutch artist?
Van Gogh.
Yes, what 2-word name is given to any form of precipitation that has a lower than usual pH value caused by water in the atmosphere reacting with contaminants such as sulfur dioxide or nitrogen oxides?
Acid rain.
Yes, at less than 50 miles wide and long, which state in New England is the smallest by area in the United States?
Maine.
No, Rhode Island. In 2007, the Department for Constitutional Affairs merged with part of the Home Office to form which government department?
Commonwealth Office.
No, the Ministry of Justice. The American rock, and I've started so I'll finish, rock and roll group who had UK hit singles in the 1950s with Shake, Rattle and Roll, Rock Around the Clock and See You Later, Alligator, was called Bill Haley and is what?
Comets.
Correct. And Gary, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 22 points. And finally, it's time for Critica again, please. So, Critica, you start with 11 points, the score to beat to get through to the semi-finals is Gary's 22 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge, starting now. Although they were once known as pettitoes, pig's feet are usually known by what name?
Trotters?
Yes, a clown called Pennywise features in what 1986 novel by Stephen King?
It.
Yes, the Princess of Carolina, named after the place where it was mined in the eastern United States, is a prize specimen of which green gemstone a variety of beryl?
Jade?
No, emerald. In the 1960s, the model and actress born Leslie Hornby in 1949 became well known by what single-word name?
Cher.
Twiggy. Which South American country is bordered by Panama to the northwest and has a coastline on both the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean?
Chile?
No, Colombia. In May 2021, which comedian and actor hosted the Brit Awards ceremony for the 4th consecutive time?
James Corden?
No, Jack Whitehall, a type of Roman gladiator known as a retiarius, was armed with a trident and what other item used to ensnare an opponent?
A net?
Yes, the composer Prokofiev died on the same day in 1953 as which Soviet leader?
Stalin?
Yes, which self-styled Cockney pop duo wrote the 1986 UK hit single Snooker Loopy that featured vocals by professional snooker players such as Steve Davis and Dennis Taylor?
Pass.
What traditional form of Japanese theatre, which since the late 17th century has been performed only by men, involves highly stylized singing, dancing and mime with elaborate costumes and makeup?
Pass.
In the 2000 comedy film Miss Congeniality, which actress stars as an FBI agent who goes undercover as a contestant at a beauty pageant?
Sandra Bullock.
Yes. What word used poetically to refer to a crucifix and taken from an Old English word for a wooden pole features in the title of a famous Old English poem preserved in the 10th century Vercelli book?
Cross.
No, rude. Which city was scheduled to host the 1944 Summer Olympic Games before they were cancelled because of the Second World War?
Paris.
No, London. What number comes next in the sequence of prime numbers that begins 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and...
13.
Yes, the charity, often known by the initials BHF, is called the British What Foundation?
Heart.
Yes, a collection of laws known as the Talmud, meaning instruction, is used by followers of which major world religion?
Islam.
No, Judaism. The 16th century Venetian artist Jacopo Robusti was known by what other name? A reference to his father's profession as a silk dyer.
Pass.
It's Tintoretto. And you had two other passes. The traditional form of Japanese theatre performed only by men, kabuki. Yes, I know you knew that. And Chaz and Dave wrote Snooker Loopy, featuring vocals by people like Steve Davis. And at the end of that round, you now have a total of 18 points.
Thank you.
So let's have a look at the final scores. In fourth place with 16 points, it's Alison. In third place with 17 points, Julian. In second place with 18 points, Kritika. And in first place with 22 points comes Gary, which means that he goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to him. Now, if you would like to be a contender in the next series, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us, as ever, at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
It was really close coming into the general knowledge round, and it could have gone either way. I just had to focus and hope I did enough. Buckingham Palace.
Yes.
Mallorca.
Yes.
Comets.
Yes.
Mastermind is the pinnacle for any nerdy quizzes like me.
First place with 22 points comes Gary.
This is my fourth attempt to get on the show, so to finally get on and to actually win, I think it's beyond words, really, at the moment.